What's going on, my PT peeps? My Walking Dead family and my fighters. I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT, and I'm back to talk about The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 7. Spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead, show, comics, spin-offs, all that stuff. Spoiler warning. Season 10, Episode 7 of The Walking Dead was very interesting. It was very good. It was a good episode. I believe it was directed by Michael Cudlitz, who played Abraham on The Walking Dead, and I gotta love that because I love Michael Cudlitz, and he's a great guy. But the episode had a lot of things going for it. It was up and down, and it answered some questions finally. But first, guys, I know, hit that subscribe button. It helps achieve our goal. Show us some love, support the channel, all things Walking Dead, and please help us out. Well, the episode was very interesting. Sadiq, it's got to be gone, right? We'll talk about the ending at the end, don't worry. But Sadiq is trying to help everybody around Alexandria, and he's not understanding why so many people are sick still. And he's probably not sleeping right. He's got some inner demons. He's just still not right because of the barn stuff that happened last season. Sadiq, Dante, there's two doctors. One of them's got to go, right? Well, since Dante theoretically killed Sadiq, he's got to go, right? So we're going to have no doctors at Alexandria? That can't be good either. That may be setting some things up down the road. But this Whisperer came and went. He was captured by Carol. He was killed by Sadiq. Well, Dante, because they made it look like Sadiq did it by accident, but I feel like Dante did it to take this guy out. But my question to you is, how did Lydia not recognize Dante? Maybe he came later, maybe he always had a mask on, or maybe it's a plot hole. It does happen. Carol was trying to kill him with kindness, and then that guy spit in her face. I would have punched him repeatedly too, Carol. Gotta love Carol. But Daryl and Father Gabriel are like, what did Carol do? And they weren't on board with Carol capturing this guy. But it set a lot of things up. Without this guy being here, we wouldn't have found out about Dante, Sadiq, probably the water stuff. It was a nice connecting point. But this guy came and went. He was killed by the Hemlock. Daryl took him out. So clearly Daryl is punching Dante in an upcoming episode, which will probably be next week. But do you think Dante survives or not? And what a big twist for the comic character Dante for the show. But the Council versus Carol. The Council versus everything. Michonne's not even there, and they're still quoting her. Michonne is at Oceanside. We'll see her next week, most likely. But Father Gabriel should be running the Council, and I wonder what's going to happen with Father Gabriel and the Council going forward. Because Erin wasn't there. Michonne wasn't there. Who's making decisions for stuff here? I guess Father Gabriel. But Carol and Daryl are definitely at odds. They definitely see the world differently now. But they showed the capper, the double capper again, and they clearly highlighted it. So is Daryl looking at it, and he thinks of Connie? Or is this kind of showing things that there's no such thing as good luck in the zombie apocalypse? That's for sure. Well, at least for our group. We finally got to see Daryl's living quarters, where he lives. For some reason, he had to take his shirt off for the ladies, I guess. And then we see the scars on his back and the tattoo that was on the right side, but on the left side before. But either way, the scars are, to me, showing you that he cares for Lydia, who has scars as well. Carol cares about Lydia for using Lydia, potentially, but probably cares about her as well. But Daryl probably sees her as someone he needs to protect and help, because Daryl and Lydia are kind of the same. They came from abusive parents, not the best upbringing, and Daryl definitely sees that. So I think he's all about protecting Lydia, and it's going to be an interesting dynamic, especially where Lydia ended up. She's on the Whisperer border. I'm guessing that they're going to go find her again. Carol and Daryl probably go out to find Lydia next episode. But I like the dialogue between Carol and Lydia, but wouldn't Carol be like, look, if we show that you're alive, that could end things here and stop more people from dying? Because didn't Carol plan to take Lydia to go see the Whisperer that was captured? Did Lydia not know that? But I guess Carol did lie to her and say they're going to go out hunting, and then Gamma saw her, and there's a whole big thing there. But Carol was taking Lydia to go see this Whisperer. Then, of course, he died. You know, we all knew something was going to happen there. But as for the water, let's talk about the water. The water is the big thing, because how were people sick? But not everybody was sick. And if you look at the first handle, well, let's look at the drinkable versus undrinkable. The red is bad, and you can see the red handle, the first handle, is bent upwards, but the handle is down. So it's still in the downward position for undrinkable. So the water was Sadiq's fault. He made people sick by accident. I don't think the whole thing with Dante was involved. I think right here, especially Eugene wasn't there, so it was on Sadiq. And Sadiq wasn't in the right mindset. So he was getting people sick by the water that was undrinkable. It's not too smart, in my opinion, to have drinkable, undrinkable water in the same area. And shouldn't they have boiled it all so it's all drinkable? But I don't know. Either way, Sadiq was the one to blame by accident. I like the dialogue with him and Rosita. Rosita is definitely the kiss of death. When you get involved with Rosita, it's not good. And I mean, look at her past relationships. It hasn't been good. So Sadiq is gone. Father Gabriel, you better watch out. But look at the red lantern and the red bird feeder are there too. There was a lot of red in this episode and around Sadiq in a lot of parts of this episode. But they highlighted the sign, so clearly Sadiq was the problem with the water because it's Eugene or Sadiq, and they're the only ones responsible for the water. So it's interesting that Sadiq was actually the problem. So I'm guessing that Dante didn't really have anything to do with that. So it's interesting. See the drinkable, undrinkable, and it's bent upwards. So the other one, you can see the two handles are different. Sadiq figures it out and he's like, oh my goodness. But it's lack of education on these parts. Sadiq and other people should have been teaching others. A lot of people should have known how to do this, but Sadiq's the only one responsible for it. So the whole thing with Gamma doesn't even fit in there. So all the time we're like, Gamma, what are you doing, Erin? What are you there talking to her for? You should be back there telling everyone about the water. I don't think it really played a factor at all, but I guess we got to figure it out. But it might be one of those things that The Walking Dead does that it's not really explained, maybe on The Talking Dead, and maybe it will be, but we'll just have to wait and see. As for Erin and Gamma and Alpha and Gamma, it was interesting because Gamma is being played by Alpha, and it's awesome that someone finally knows that Lydia is still alive and Alpha lied about it. So Gamma, what's going to happen there? But the whole dialogue with Gamma and Erin was interesting. And so he went back to Alexandria and got fresh bread. He's like, yep, I got fresh bread. It's baked fresh. Great. And he offers to share it. And Gamma's like, nah, I can't do that. And their dialogue was good because Gamma knows that there's a community that has kids and has to play a factor on Gamma for sure about her sister and, the sister's kid. And it's just interesting because Gamma goes from like, hey, we can be friends to, nope, I hate you, because she was whipped by Alpha. And I know it's a show and it's fictional, but part of me would be like, man, something's not right here. Your inner being and your gut feeling would have to be like, this is weird. Erin was nice to me and Alpha whipped me. But either way, Gamma was there to hurt Erin potentially and get information, but then luckily Carol saves the day again. Dun, da, 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 super Carol, but she brought along Lydia, which was great, and it was awesome because that sets the tone for Gamma knowing that Alpha is a liar, Alpha is BS, and it brings up the question, will Gamma go after Alpha or lead a revolution against Alpha very soon? But Gamma runs away and Lydia's like, you lied to me. And she sees Carol being as bad as Alpha. And then Lydia runs into the Whisperer border. Whisperer border. Does she come across Gamma? Do they bond up and does Gamma take Lydia back? Because if Lydia just walks into the Whisperer camp, maybe Alpha's excited to see her. But then Beta and the Whisperers are like, whoa, this is not good. You lied to everyone. So we'll have to see what happens. But Erin, hopefully go back to Alexandria, please. Enough of this talking. But the fact that Lydia is there on the Whisperer side means a couple things. Potentially, of course. Lydia, Alpha, Negan, Lydia, Gamma, something, right? Gamma's got to be involved here, for sure. I feel like Gamma dies going against Alpha because Gamma knows that Alpha's full of it and her sister died for no reason. And it's just crazy. So what can happen here? I can't wait to find out. But let's talk about the big thing here with Dante and Sadiq. So Dante is a Whisperer, and I bring up the question, how the heck did Dante get into Alexandria? Because after the fact that this happened, that Alpha got into the kingdom, and Michonne caused such a big stink about Magnus Group coming into Alexandria, why would you let anybody in, especially Dante? The dude is weird. But either way, Sadiq did not play a role in killing Enid or DJ or anyone. He was forced to watch, and he's being haunted by Enid, like I said in another video. So I'm glad that happened, because if Sadiq was involved, I just don't like that. I don't like that at all, and I'm glad it wasn't. And I'm glad, well, it's terrible to say, but I'm glad that Sadiq was just being haunted by Enid and what happened. But, not that I'm glad that it happened, but I'm just glad that played out instead of him actually being responsible for killing Enid. But Dante coming over to Sadiq is interesting because I feel like Dante actually cared about Sadiq as a friend. He saw him as a friend. But Dante is there for a reason. And Dante is a Whisper right here. When he was like, that sets off the trigger that Sadiq knows that he was the guy right there. And what are the odds of that? Of all the Whispers, Dante is the guy to do that. And maybe that's what happened there. Maybe Dante was sent to go watch Sadiq by Alpha because of that. But either way, Dante takes out Sadiq. So I guess, at best case, he just put him to sleep. But I just feel like Dante killed Sadiq. There's no way to really tell because it is kind of like a sleeper hold. And then he passes out. So maybe Sadiq's still alive, but I'm not holding out hope that he is. It'll probably be answered on Talking Dead in Memoriam if there is one for Sadiq. And they'll probably answer it right away. But Sadiq could be gone. And Dante is a traitor, a whisperer, a spy. So like I said, Avi Nash, who plays Sadiq, and Chandler Riggs, who a lot of people are pissed if Sadiq actually is dead, that Carl died for nothing. And I see what people are saying and how they feel about it, but the two aren't really connected. I know Sadiq was supposed to live on in the memory of Carl, but we'll have to see what happens in the future episode, but I just feel like Sadiq is gone. He was one of our picks to get killed off with our predictions and theories and all that stuff, so it looks like Sadiq is gone. So let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below, guys, and I'm interested to know what happens next episode. We have one more episode, and then it's the mid-season break. So season 10, episode 7 was great, and I hope next week's episode is even better, and I can't wait. And for those interested in my Zombie Apocalypse book series, I have 11 books now. Check out the link in the description and support an amateur writer. Thank you guys for watching, and tell them, Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys. Honestly, thank you.